Are you getting tired of sitting on the camping chairs every time you come to do one of these?
Every time. Ladies and gentlemen, we will have a Kickstarter for Eric to buy his guest a nice, succulent leather chair.
From Dallas, Fort Worth, it's the Midnight Power Hour.
Hello, people, and welcome back to the Midnight Power Hour. I'm back again in the studio with Jack, and I should have closed the studio door because my cat's being a terrorist.
The demon has been released. We need a
released.
Catholic priest to perform the exorcism.
Mm-hmm. If anyone knows a Catholic priest or has a crucifix, they can let us borrow.
I have a theory.
What's your theory?
The name that you bestow upon your little fuzzy friend impacts the soul of the creature, and you giving her the name Lucy or Lucifer.
Oh, so that's why she's so devilish.
So fiendish, yes.
Fiendish.
I mean, she's a feet freak.
She's embodied her name. We should look that up. Was the devil like a foot fetish guy?
Yeah.
Is he a feet guy?
Oh, he does have hooves.
If anyone has contact with the devil, ask him on behalf of us and tweet us the answer. Tweet us what he says. Get a Ouija board. Go to the middle of the woods or a cemetery, invoke the devil, and ask him.
You want to know why it's called an Ouija board?
Why?
So it's a combination.
Of Luigi?
It's a combination of yes in both French and German. Oui and ja or ja.
Yes, yes?
Yes.
Why is it called, why that though?
Because of the thing of the time. Do you know anything in like the 50s and 1860s? There was like a spirituality craze, like a new phenomenon.
Oh,
like
yeah, that's when
like
everyone was like, they were like doing seances and shit all the time.
And so they took two of the most popular European languages. I mean, English was obviously worldwide. English Empire. But they took yes in French and yes in German and just combined it. Because essentially what you're doing is that you're asking a spirit yes or no, and you want to hear yes. Like, can you hear me? Yes.
Oh, that's really why they called it an Ouija board? Was because of
yeah. It's just it's just an interesting piece
play
of
on
trivia.
words. Wow.
Yeah. So whenever you have that astrology girl over, you can tell her that.
Woo her with that information. Anyone listening, if you're trying to get the
if
the
you need romantic
goth girl,
tips,
the
goth girl with the wolf haircut.
Tell her what you know, and she will be fascinated by your occult knowledge.
Yeah, I was listening to the Midnight Power Hour, and this guy was like, it's yes and yes in French and German.
And then she'll be like,
"Oh, you listen to the Midnight Power Hour?"
and then it starts taking off everything.
Yeah, baby.
That was. I need to get more used to messing with these buttons and filters.
You really have to. It's great. Actually, hit me one. Just hit me with anything.
Anything? All right, I'm gonna just hit it a couple. Give me a number.
6.
Yo. So, yeah. You, listen to Midnight Hour. Wee.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Do all our promos and that from
that was just Tyrone. I mean, we could just get a guy on the street to do that.
Really, we really could just hire a guy on Fiverr.
I mean, that's what you did for the intro, didn't you?
Yeah. This guy named Daniel something. He does work with like Raid Shadow Legends and shit like that.
Lord have mercy.
Could you imagine though that guy in the voice of the intro going Raid Shadow Legends? I totally can hear it.
I've never played that game, and I never want to because I've heard it so much that it's seeped itself into my soul. And maybe I need the Catholic priest to excise it from my memory.
Well, that'll only be effective for like 24 hours. You play
until
anything.
like any ad and like Raid Show Island.
Speaking of games that can, I guess, impede and impair your soul, have you ever played with a Ouija board before?
No, I haven't because I
scared of the implications.
I'm not scared of the implications, but it's really not healthy. Because it's essentially opening a door, and you don't know what's on the other end. And the majority of people don't have that spiritual knowledge or expertise to even know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah. Most of them are just kind of like thrill-seeking in a way, which is the worst worst time in person to be invoking deities with.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, oh, I spoke with my grandmother.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah.
was that your grandmother? Was that Grandma Sally?
Right.
Or was that a demon?
Or was your grandma a demon? Then it wasn't her.
Yeah, it's a weird phenomenon because you have a lot of people and they have the departed, the deceased, and like my grandmother visited me in the night, and she had black eyes and she was hovering, and she's like, "Don't open the kitchen cabinet on the bottom left," and then you find her coke stash.
Oh yeah, that's how you know it's grandma though.
Yeah, that's how you know it's grandma. But I mean, the point is like, what's truly on the other side?
What are you talking to?
Because like the essence of a demon, it's a trickster. It's gonna lie to you. It's gonna deceive you.
Yeah.
It's not an angel.
Right.
It's like, I'm Gabriel. I'm gonna lead you into the light.
Right. Actually, I've used a Ouija board before. My first experience with a Ouija board was with one that I made, actually.
Oh, you made it. So
I
it
made
had your
one.
own like soul attached to it.
I guess so, man. I guess you could say it had my essence infused with it. And it was a weird experience.
Okay, enlighten me. What happened
So
on this doll? Where did it touch you?
I don't want to talk about it. No. So I made it out of like a cardboard box, and I used marker.
So you looking for like a Brooklyn tour rat, like that kind of ghost?
Oh my god. Yeah, dude.
Hey, how you doing? I'm from Brooklyn.
Dude, I was invoking some like.
Yeah, some Italian mobster from the 30s.
Uh-huh.
I'll tell you what you want to hear, huh?
I used a Lucky Charms box, so I give it some extra oomph. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So I just used marker in the card, but it wasn't the best looking
Yeah,
thing.
that sounds ratchet.
I tried to make it like look like as mystical as possible, and I covered it with like tape so it could be smooth.
Yeah, so you had to use
the
the Irish leprechaun, right?
Yes, had to, because ginger. That's how you know it was a demon coming through. But no, so I used it, and I had my camera at the time. It was fully charged, and I forgot what we used as the planquette, and we asked it its name, and it spelled out Floyd, and then the camera just shut off. Yeah.
So like George Floyd.
Jesus Christ! I knew. I had a feeling you were gonna say that. This was before George Floyd,
or Pink Floyd. You never know.
right?
And you just your
been.
phone starts playing The Wall.
Yeah, I would never listen to Pink Floyd again if that happened. But yeah, so that happened, and then it said like that, like how we broke the golden rule of Ouija boards, and we asked it how and when we're gonna die and shit, and it gave us like all a bunch of like bullshit information. It said I was gonna well, this is getting dark, but it said I was gonna off myself or something.
Yeah, see, that's just none of that's like based in reality. Because like that's like clearly some demonic little spirit. Like, ooh, I'm so cringe and edgy. You're gonna kill yourself.
Yeah, or maybe they thought that if there was a demon trying to play tricks on us, that it would maybe their goal was to influence us to.
Yeah, that's
do stuff
kind
like
of the point I'm trying to make. Is that it's like, because if you were gonna kill yourself, that just means you don't have any free will.
Yeah.
And the one thing a demon wants to do is that they want to like kind of rescind that free will.
Yeah.
And like, hey, this wouldn't happen. And like, oh, well, it's gonna kill myself. And you're like, fuck, god damn, just pull out the Glock. They said I'm gonna kill me.
All right, might as well. Where'd you get that gun? Yeah, we ended up burning it like a couple days later.
That's good.
We used it a few
fire
times.
purifies everything.
Yeah, that's what we looked at. And this was when I was very, very new to like anything mysticism or occult, and I was very irresponsible with the shit I was doing.
That's kind of the point I want to emphasize, is that you shouldn't be doing that.
Right.
Because
even if you are experienced,
like,
or knowledgeable, I don't think you should be.
Yeah, because you're exposing your soul to some nefarious entity and some horrible influences.
Right.
And you're really not prepared. You have no conception of what you're doing, because you're essentially tapping into other realms. And who's behind the curtain?
Let me rephrase what I just said. Actually, if you are experienced and like you're knowledgeable and like anything in this field, then you know not to do shit like that. Yeah, basically.
Because it's essentially like walking into a dark room and announcing who you are.
You wouldn't just put your information out online like that.
Yeah,
and,
you
like,
wouldn't download a
hope
car.
for the best. Download a car. Yeah, you wouldn't
those
click
fucking-
those
that-
sketchy ads on
God,
those
that-
special websites.
I
You know,
fucking love those commercials from the early 2000s. You wouldn't steal a car.
so why are you downloading music online? Now it's like
Yeah, those
everything's
are-
on YouTube.
Yeah, those are the best.
Oh my god.
And then like young 7-year-old me like, no, I wouldn't. And then do not use a Swedish naval site for piracy.
Mm-hmm. And that
doesn't
didn't
ex-
stop anybody.
No.
We were all, as children, at least me and myself, I speak for myself, I was from the age of like 9 or 10 till about 14, 15, 16, just a master at just piracy, honestly.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember even at middle school, like everyone just like downloading everything.
Mm-hmm. And back then, software was so. I love how we switched from like the occult to like software and engineering.
It's kind of
and
the
stuff.
same thing because like software really is like alchemy though.
Yeah, I see where you're getting at.
Yeah.
This is a good Halloween episode.
This is a good Halloween episode.
Season 2, episode 1 of the Salcedo verse, the Goatman's Bridge episode. Do you remember that? Do you
I
remember
do. I
going to
remember-
Goatman's Bridge?
Yeah, I remember that vividly.
Do you remember what brought us there?
Yeah, so we were in Denton and we were going to my dealer at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We can talk about all that there. So
Yeah.
it's all. Yeah, we were going to get was it a dab cart? What were we going to go get?
It was a deb cart, yes.
Yeah,
And we were in Denton.
And we stopped by Bucky's because Denton's in, Bucky's is in Denton.
Yeah, and then I was like, there's a haunted place.
Yeah.
Near here.
Uh-huh.
Allegedly the most haunted in Texas. A lot of places, they bear that title.
Right.
It's up to the viewer to determine which is the spookiest place.
Right. Yeah.
But we went to the Goatman's Bridge, and it was only, 15, 20 minutes away?
From where we were. So I remember we were. I was telling you like, yeah, we should stop by there sometime because I hear it's what you just said. It's like one of the more haunted places in Texas, and you were like, well, where is it at? And I literally Google Maps it from where we were, and we were driving back from Denton to Fort Worth at the time, and it was literally like 10 minutes away. And I remember looking over you and be like, Jack, it's literally like we're close to it right now. Like,
Yeah, it was like 15 minutes away at max.
right. And I was like, fuck it, just want to go right now. And surprisingly, you were like down to do it, which I was not expecting you to say yes. I was expecting you to be like, it seems a bit sus. Like, let's not. But you're like, fuck it, let's go. And we ended up going. And we ran into those dudes there. Do you remember those dudes you ran
Yeah, he
into?
pulled out his butterfly knife on you.
Yeah. he was drunk, and I straight up thought like
I mean, I died, didn't I?
is he actually gonna stab me, or is he just fucking around? Like,
Yeah, he wanted to sacrifice you, appease the wrath of the goat man.
of the goat man, yeah. But no, dude, that was a spooky ass fucking bridge. That was like granted, we were there in midnight, so it was in the middle of the night. So, granted, it was gonna be spookier. But yeah.
To be honest, I didn't feel anything when I was there.
Did you not? Yeah.
No.
Honestly, yeah, same. I just felt like I was at like a park bridge somewhere,
Yeah.
I
And,
didn't.
it makes sense though. Locale that they have to make something up to give their small town some memorable name, some memorable spot.
And like country people, especially, I feel like they're like a little bit more superstitious, and they'll believe that. Because I fully believe that the guys that we ran into there, and they were telling us about the Goatman lore, I fully believe that they thought it was true. I don't think that they were just trying to like lie to us and trying to like freak us out. I fully believe that they
small town country bumpkins telling you about the lore of their haunted bridge and how the goat man will come suckle your teeth in the middle of the night.
Right. In the middle of the night, you hear 3 knocks, and next thing you know, you're getting your teeth suckled. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Goat man, where art thou?
Yeah, we didn't see Goatman though. We
He didn't show up, unfortunately.
He's
probably at dinner or something. I assume he's really busy.
Right.
Probably it was Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean, he's at some function. Let's be honest.
Yeah, he's got a busy schedule, I'm sure. Like, he's got other deities to meet up with.
Yeah.
Got to plan their hauntings for that season. But
who are we gonna scare to death today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A busy itinerary.
Well, I wish we could have gone to the forest there, because I hear the forest. Because I don't know if you saw the Ghost Adventures episode of when they went to Goatman's Bridge. So Zach Bagans, is that his name?
Who's this?
You've seen Ghost Adventures, right?
No, I haven't.
No. Okay, I want to look. I'm gonna pull up Ghost. You've seen Ghost Adventures. There's no way.
I would recognize it. It most definitely would.
It's like a travel channel show.
It's gonna whip this up.
Not Ghost Rider, Ghost Adventures.
Season 26. Wow, it's been out for a while.
Oh yeah, it's an old as fuck show.
Zach Baggins.
Zach Baggins, yeah.
Baggins.
This doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that.
So they went to the Goatman's Bridge in one of their earlier seasons. I forgot.
Okay,
which
so
season it was.
early season.
Yeah, early season they went there, and they went across the bridge, obviously, but there was one point in the episode where they go to the woods, the wooded area around there, and Zach Bacon's full on has like he starts acting like he got possessed. he straight up starts acting all like bizarre and erratic and shit.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of it's just just show theater.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, this is a primetime reality TV show.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, how much of it is fabricated? How much is it true? How much of it is real?
You definitely have to extrapolate a lot of you have to create that content out of like reactions and shit. But apparently, yeah, that's where the majority of the paranormal shit happens, is the woods, not necessarily the bridge, from what I've heard. But we didn't get to go into the woods, I think. They didn't take us
No,
there.
the spirits didn't call us and beckon us,
No, and would you have followed them there if they're like, hey, let's just go into the woods?
Let's see. You have this drunk 18-year-old with a butterfly knife with erratic behavior. Probably not.
Probably not, yeah.
No. It's not that, I don't want to discriminate against all the sprites and the spirits and the ghosts and the ghoulies. I don't have any problem with you. But the kid with the butterfly knife.
That's a direct threat.
Yeah, a bit hesitant,
Yeah.
Don't want to be filleted today,
Everyone else, the other two dudes, are pretty chill, I think. Yeah. But I think they wanted us, because we were leaving, I think they wanted us to follow them back.
Wanted us to stay.
Yeah.
Come with us.
What if they were, or one of them
What if
was
they
the
were
goat
possessed?
Man? Yeah.
And the goat man he's a shapeshifter,
Right. Like some sort of Wendigo or some sort of... Can you say Wendigo now? Is that... I know the term skinwalker is a little bit...
I like the term skinwalker. It evokes a lot more horror.
Right.
Because you think about it, walking skin, what does that mean? You talking about a shape-shifting animal. I don't know. Obviously, you can't take all this, the credibility on Reddit.
Yeah.
The paranormal subreddit, if you've been on there. If you're an unfortunate soul like me. I mean, come on. It's just it's those green texts from Reddit. All of it's made up. But
the r/no sleep Reddit.
Yeah, but I've read some really unsettling things. There was one on a mimic, and how they had this one girl. I think she was 16 or 17 at the time. She had a bout, 2-week bout, this period, where she kept on seeing a mimic of her mother, and it'd be like her mother would come home from work.
Explain real quick what a mimic is for anyone that might not know.
I'm pretty sure most culture has this concept, this phenomena, but it's essentially an entity which can emulate or imitate a person.
Mimic, yeah.
Yeah, mimic. And, it's changeling. Have you the changeling? Have you heard of the changeling? That's more like Celtic folklore. Though the changeling can assume the shape of a child
and the voice of
yeah.
And
it's call it whatever you want, but it's just a generic creature that can imitate a person. But she kept on reporting that her mother would come home and then she would hear a voice from upstairs or downstairs of hey, I need your help. And then she would go down a hallway, and then she would see the mimic at the end of the hallway, and then did
it look like her mom?
It looked like her mom. And then she'd go in that room, and there's nothing there. And then she'd go back downstairs, and she'd see her mother,
her actual
mother, haven't left, been watching TV. He was like, "Did you call me upstairs?" No, I've been down here for the past hour.
See, I feel like that's... Now, I'm not very...
well versed on this.
Well, yeah, I'm not very well versed when it comes to entities and cryptids, but yeah. I would just say that's a demon. If you were to just briefly categorize it into something, I would say that's more or less just
I
just
see Sam and Dean Winchester Sam, get the
Yeah.
get the salt.
Literally, yeah.
Full
on
I
supernatural.
love that show. Just run again with the. Remember, there's salt shotguns that they'd like shoot ghosts with.
No, I didn't watch that. I only seen like I think a couple episodes of that show.
No, but I think it's an interesting concept, and honestly, like I wouldn't. You could still like I guess technically classify as a demon, but I would go further and say it's more of like a trickster spirit.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing. Obviously, I mean that's kind of horrific seeing something that assumes the shape of a loved one, but isn't. But it's not really so malice, but it's just kind of. I don't want to use the term trolling.
Maybe it's. Oh, I was gonna say bored. Maybe.
Oh, it's mocking.
Oh.
You know, it's a jester,
Yeah.
and so like.
Well, what does it get out of it? Do you think it gets some sort of?
Well, think about it. Like if you imagine you saying, you know, let's take an example. Your mother.
Yeah.
And you're visiting your mother at home, and hey, honey, let's help me with the laundry. Can you do this? Mm-hmm. And then, bam, it's not your mom.
Yeah.
It's
your mom's been asleep this
It's
whole
your
time.
tax man's IRS agent. I was joking.
It's someone trying to give you like you've been served.
It's a Fed.
Yeah, it's a Fed.
Get lured into a honey pot where you're going away for 25 plus life.
Oh God, man.
No. But
If those creatures started working for the feds, everyone would be screwed, man. We'd all be screwed.
yeah, do you know the IRS that employs cryptids? Now you know.
Well, see, I don't completely.
No, but get this though. If you're in a state of horror, maybe they kind of like suck that energy. I don't know, kind of vacuum that off.
Like Monsters Inc. They
Monsters
get
Inc.
energy from it.
Yeah, you know, I was making this point to you earlier though. Do you see the parallel between Doctor Sleep and Monsters Inc.?
No. Well, okay. So let's do a little backstory here. So me and Jack actually a long time ago, years ago, when Doctor Sleep first was in
2019,
theaters.
fall 2019.
Oh, damn, you remember? Okay, fall 2019.
November 9th, 12:30 a.m.
Was that actually when we went?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, Jesus Christ, Jack. Well, yeah, we went to go see that movie. I was pissed drunk.
Yeah, you were
and
blackout.
I was blackout,
and I was drunk too, not nearly as drunk you were. But
yeah,
I kept,
you were still able to follow along.
Yeah,
and I left that theater like, what the fuck was even any of that?
yeah, but the kind of the plot is like had what's his name? Oh, he's slipping.
Ewan
McGregor. So Obi-Wan Kenobi, Space Jedi Man, was Danny.
Yeah, the kid from The Shining.
Kid from The Shining, all grown up, and he had the ability to shine, which essentially I guess is just being able to see the spirit realm.
I see dead people.
I see dead people. Dude, that movie freaked me the fuck out. Let's not go on a tangent when I saw that as a kid, but so I see the parallels. They're in Monsters Inc. They're essentially the Scream Meter. They have the jars, big yellow jars. They're sucking the fear and terror, or the life force, the vitality from the children.
Right.
And you have this cult who's been systematically stalking those who can shine and taking their life force, their energy.
These are
killing.
the Doctor Sleep cult. And
it's like you can take their shining or their ability, or just kill people who can actually shine,
right?
And so they're powerless, and so they're just pawns serving greater evil, greater spirits and whatnot. But I think that concept really rings true if you have an entity that can kind of draw energy from your fear.
And you're saying that a good way to do that would be to pose as a loved one or someone, maybe if you had someone pass, like a grandparent or someone pass, and a mimic, a demon, a mimic or whatever would come and they would take the form of that. You would trust. So if I say one of my grandparents died and I saw their ghost, I'd be freaked out, but I'd be more inclined to trust that spirit. Because it's grandma. Oh, grandma's looking over me. It's familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Also, you could also argue, no pun intended, but playing the devil's advocate, it could be posed as a demon.
Yeah.
They're abusing you by assuming a form that you trust.
Yeah.
And that your guard would be lowered.
And possibly getting you to do things maybe you wouldn't normally do.
Yeah, and so this might seem like not connected at all, but Aristotle, the Greek philosopher, he actually spoke about elementals, and like their philosophy, they believed that every form of elemental, like water or fire or stone or air, earth or air, right? They would have forms that they would take, and then they had their different kingdoms and taxonomy. And so I remember reading like a German manuscript in the 1500s, and they would talk about how they would see dwarves in the mines, or gnomes or dwarves, whatever word or whatever entity you want to use.
Right.
And what they would do is that they would steal, or not steal. What they would do is that they would take their pickaxes and tools to actually like extract the ore and whatnot, and they would mix them all around and move them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, that's not really malice, or you can argue it is. You know, you purposely disrupting workflow, but it's more of that trickster,
Right.
or rambunctious,
Like a prankster.
a
almost.
prankster.
Yeah.
Like Loki. Like
Loki actually is a Norse deity.
yeah, he is.
Yeah. He wasn't just a Marvel character.
Yeah, I hate those people. Like, oh yeah, like a Marvel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've yet to meet... Well, actually, no, I have met someone who...
Their only reference point is Marvel.
Is Marvel.
He's Marvel brain. That's all they know.
Right, yeah. No, fortunately, yeah. I'm a little bit versed in deities. Well, I'm not too versed, but I know that, you know, they're more than just Marvel or comic book characters, basically. But now to tie in what you were saying a little bit about, you know, trickster beings like that, do you have any, like, personal experience or any family?
No, not really. No. Well, my mom did tell me one paranormal experience she had.
Your mom had a...
Yeah, so I remember asking her one time if you had any paranormal experiences, and she said nothing really concrete. Although, if you know anything about anything paranormal, you would know that women really have this sixth sense to them.
Really?
I'm sure you've heard about this before, but like women are a lot more sensitive. You know, you might chop that out for like women are the embodiment of chaos, and they attract chaos, and they can speak the language of chaos. But so my mom, she said she was downstairs in her childhood house, and then they finally felt this like this evil presence, and it felt like very heavy and like lead weight.
Yeah.
On the shoulders, and they smell like sulfur and rotten eggs. And when people say like rotten eggs, I mean it's sulfur.
Yeah.
And sulfur is, you know, associated with
Demons
in hell.
Yeah.
And she said she didn't see anything, but the presence, the sensation,
The
the
anxiety.
well, yeah,
and
the anxiety,
smell.
because it's like dread
Yeah.
and fear, and then that smell, and then she had her like sister come in, and then they invoked the name of Jesus Christ, and then that energy dissipated.
Damn.
It's just, you know, if we take the approach that, you know, there is a scientific basis for different planes of existence, imagine you reaching into a portal. Let's make this easier. Like, okay, Narnia wardrobe, you reaching out into it. Right? You don't know what's on the other side.
Yeah.
You don't know what's there.
Yeah.
And so, if you want to expose yourself to some little skullduggery and trickery, and you know,
It's kind of like going on the deep web with no like Norton
well, the thing
antivirus.
is, think about this. This may like be very crude, but it's like a paranormal glory hole. You don't know what's
Okay. Yeah. That's a more.
you don't know what's on the other side.
No. Yeah. It could be. You know. You don't know what diseases you could be contracting.
You don't know what you don't know what succubus is.
You're kind of just putting it out there. You're taking a risk.
You're taking ambition and initiative. I like it, but that's.
I would argue glory
risk is
holes.
involved.
I would argue a glory hole at a bar is safer than, you know, a spiritual glory hole.
Absolutely.
You know, there's hardly any glory
you know,
out of getting haunted by a poltergeist. You know.
Yeah, because the thing is, you know, what's attached to you? Like what attacks? Yeah, it's the same thing. You know, especially like what kind of state of mind are you in? What's the state of being?
Yeah.
You know, if you know, not to be like a 1970s hippie who's smoking a doobie while having some sex with some California surfer woman,
Right.
But it's all vibes, man.
Yeah.
But like, what is resonance? You know, if you're oscillating at 100 hertz, something else is gonna come into
gonna match
in
that.
sync. It's gonna resonate
Like a radio.
Yeah. And so, like, if you apply there's a Nikola Tesla quote, and he says, once you understand energy, frequency, and vibration, you'll unlock the secrets of the universe, or something to that effect. It's probably not the exact
That's
quote.
what he said. I think. Let's look up the quote.
Yeah, but
Fuck it. We'll look up the quote. But yeah.
But the point is that if you just take the approach that you're essentially the electromagnetic Tesla coil, and you're just propagating all these waves, right? You come in a very depressed state. You have a lot of anxiety, a lot of insecurities, a lot of fears.
Yeah.
And then you go in the glory hole. It's not going to be an angel, I promise you. He's not going to take your hand.
No.
You're not going to get married. It's not going to have that
what's
white
an
picket
angel
fence.
doing in a glory hole to begin with?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fallen angel.
Yeah.
Lucy.
Right.
Lucy in the Sky of Diamonds.
Uh-huh.
If that's your thing or not, don't judge.
Well, if you're trying to like see is paranormal shit real, then I could understand putting your metaphorical, your spiritual meat into a glory hole. If you're trying to see, is there another side?
Yeah.
If you already think there's another side, if you're
But the thing is, I don't think you should be doing that if you've been questioning if there's another side or
really,
not. No.
well, yeah, you're probably you're absolutely right about that.
I mean, that's like, it's like getting your driver's license and then trying to go straight from that into like Formula One racing.
Right.
And so you've only arrived at this conclusion, something exists more than this dense materialistic world. I'm gonna go expose myself to a demon.
Right.
That's not. It's like 0 to 60. Like you got
Right.
You miss some intervals. You miss some a lot of between.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to say that, but my point is like if you go into that situation, you're gonna unfold and unveil yourself to some things that really don't have your best interest in mind.
And I feel like what the real problem is people that get into, for example, ceremonial magic or like some form
like
of
chaos
spiritualism.
magic and shit like that.
Right, you're very new to it. Maybe like you grew up Christian or you grew up religious.
Aleister Crowley.
Right.
I'm gonna invoke a demon.
You grew up Christian and then you learned about Aleister Crowley. You're starting to you go his route of you go the opposite way and you're
honestly,
then you're more in,
I would not take any wisdom from the man who consumed his own feces, intending to gain insight and induce some revelation.
but people will see what he did and use that as inspiration to like contact the other side and not know, hence what we were saying earlier, what they're sticking their
what's on the
spiritual
other
meat
side.
into, what they're sticking into that glory. Like you really are,
Exposing yourself to a lot of latent dangers.
Yeah. And I am so I'm not necessarily religious. I more or less align with
man of
agnostic
science.
people. Well, yeah, man of science. I full on believe 'cause science is reputable. It is. You could
That's true. I mean, has a reputation. It's reputable.
not
You can-
reputable, but it's
Repeatable.
repeatable. It's repeatable. It's you can validate it. It's trustworthy.
Double blind study.
So it's like I'm not gonna scientists are lying, but I also believe that there's like a spiritual side of things. Because at the end of the day, even scientists don't know what the beginning of everything was, where everything came from. There's still questions.
Yeah, it's an approximation of reality.
Exactly. So I'm
of
somewhere.
nature.
I'm between a rock and a hard place spiritually, but I full on believe in deities and another side because I've had many people, especially family. Actually, my one interesting story in particular. My dad, when he was a kid and he was living with his mom and his siblings still, they lived in this house somewhere in Fort Worth, and it was really haunted. It was it was bad. According to his name.
Casper, I assume not Casper.
No, it wasn't Casper. It was Casper's older dickhead brother. No, so
He's the old twin.
yeah. And one day I'll try and get my dad on here and maybe he'll want to talk about it, but I'll just do a Cliff Notes version. Basically, every night they'd hear loud footsteps that doesn't even do a good justice. So let me try and replicate.
Just pound that table.
I can't even. Yeah, I'm gonna add footsteps to the edit. They would hear
It's gonna be impeccable, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna be amazing.
They'd hear footsteps.
Okay,
in chains. Walking down the hall.
Okay, so the ghost just found out he's not getting custody, so he's just stomping around.
Yeah, pissed. basically. So yeah, they'd hear that, and one of my aunts reportedly saw one night a woman in chains hovering over her bed. And,
Wow,
and another one of my aunts.
I'm just sorry. I'm not sorry to interrupt you. I'm
You're
just
good.
visiting. What was Scrooge's Marley? Yeah, Jacob Marley.
Jacob
with the
Marley.
chains above.
Basically.
you're gonna be visited by 3 ghosts.
Yeah. She saw Jacob Marley essentially, but it was an older woman, she said.
And so it was a woman in chains.
A woman in chains.
Alice in Chains.
Alice in fucking chains. Oh my god.
Dude, that's great advertising. They're now sending you Ghost to show you all the new merch and the records.
Oh dude. I think Lane
Imagine-
Staley would have wished he saw that, and that would have been the album cover for the facelift or for the Dirt album or something like that.
That'd be great. No, that must have been terrifying though for her.
Well, yeah, and it was terrifying for everyone. It gets worse, dude. So I'll just give you the cliff notes. But basically, they were experiencing these hauntings on like almost a nightly basis. And my grandma,
But
their mom.
Did it start out like relatively mild and then like crescendo?
I don't know. Honestly, don't know. Maybe I would imagine.
But like describe the hauntings.
So my grandma was always working all the time. So like she's worked 2 jobs all her life. Like it was always just the kids at the house, and mom would get there late of the night, and like she's
She's working as well, of course.
working her ass off and shit. And basically, what my dad and his siblings would experience was they would hear those loud footsteps, heavy footsteps, like a they would describe it as like a really big guy.
2-story
walking.
house?
No, I think it was like a 1-story, just like kind of like my old place.
Okay, but like relative to the let's take the blueprint, take the schematics. Where's the footsteps? Where are they coming from?
Like in the hallway. So like imagine like the bedrooms are in the hallway, and they'd hear it walking outside their bedroom.
And did they know of the people who lived in the house before they did?
No, I don't think so. Unless maybe I don't know, but to my knowledge, no. So they would hear that every night, and they would experience just like the classic stuff, like doors opening and closing, things.
That one cabinet won't say shut.
Yeah, that one fucking pantry, and then that they like I swear I left this thing here and it moved, or that classic thing. But what really got them like worried was when shit like this happened. Was so one of my aunts would every night go to bed, and then one day she I think they were all like having like breakfast at the table or something like that, and my grandma, their mom, was there. And at this point I think they already knew about like the haunting, like they had already talked about it as a family. They knew it was like something that was going on, and my aunt told my grandma, and she was like, this must have been in like the 1980s, and she told her, she's like, hey mom, I just wanted to say, I appreciate you coming in and tucking me in at night and giving me a kiss every night, because it's been really weird here and freaky, but I appreciate you coming in and tucking me in and giving me a smooch before.
What are you talking about?
Exactly. That is exactly like according to their story is like their mom, my grandma, just like kind of looked at him like strange and like, what are you talking about? Like I haven't been doing that. Like I wasn't even home then. Like that. What do you mean? Like, and I think that at that point was when my grandma or whoever like actually brought in a Catholic priest. Like she actually invoked what was his name from The Exorcist? I don't know his name.
I honestly haven't seen that film in such a long time, but I know what you're talking about.
Well, she got one of those dudes, and she
Did it
had
work?
it come over. I don't think so, because they ended up moving. I don't think it worked. So basically, this guy comes in, and he has the cross, and he's going
The
into
holy
each
water.
room.
Yeah.
He's doing like the standard procedure, and at one point, he drops his cross. And this is something that's witnessed by all of the siblings in my dad's family. This is like they physically watched this happen. He drops the cross. It hits the floor, and it lands on the floor. Like imagine if I just dropped something. It lands on the floor, right? It's there on the floor, and then it just breaks. Like it's something like stomped on it, and just broke.
That's rude.
Yeah. A dick move, man. A pretty dick move. But yeah, so the priest is going room to room doing his thing. He drops his cross. The cross lands on the floor, and then crack. It didn't drop and then crack and break because it hit the floor on impact. It landed there. It was there, and then it just
Shattered.
shattered.
Did it like break clean in half or like multiple
don't know.
pieces?
I honestly don't know. I don't know, but they just said they remember they see it land on the floor and then it shattered on the floor like seconds after it was already there. So it wasn't like a natural crack based on impact. So this was one of the last things that happened before they moved out. Another thing that happened was my dad and his brother used to share a room, and I think this is like was the catalyst when they finally decided to move. Maybe there's other things, but he said he would share, like, they had 2 mattresses, and my dad said he saw something was spooking him. So he got off of his mattress and he laid next to his brother, and as soon as he got off his mattress, he said he saw his mattress getting pulled on up into the wall. Like it was getting pulled, like if someone was lifting it up and dragging it across the wall. And then he said he saw that, and he said he just turned and he just like nuzzled his head into his brother, and he was just looking like just in fear, just not looking at it, and just for the rest of the night.
I can't see it doesn't exist.
He just basically he said until like he didn't like basically get or move until like the sun came up and they got out of bed the next day. But he didn't turn
scatters
around
all
after that.
evils.
Yeah, man, it's the reset, I guess, man. But I don't know where that house was. I really want to see if they remember the address. I would love to like
Pull it up and
pull it up on Google
it'd
Maps.
be interesting though to see if like pull up the actual history of the house.
Oh yeah,
Because I mean, there has to be a reason for this overweight man who's stomping around.
or woman, because like they said they heard weight and chains, but they said they saw the ghost with chains on it, and it was a woman. It was an old woman.
Old woman.
But I don't know, man. I'd love to know the history of that house, how long they were there. But you know, my dad will talk about it. My grandma, she's religious. She doesn't want to like bring those things
invoke
back.
the
Invoke
spirits.
these things. Yeah, she'd rather just like I'll bring it up. She's like, why are you interested in this? She's like, why do you want to know, man? She's like, this isn't like kind of what we were saying earlier. Like, you really don't want to.
You don't want to go down the glory hole.
Yeah, basically.
Rabbit hole, maybe. Glory hole, no.
Yeah. Rabbit holes are better than glory holes, I guess. I guess you can say.
Yeah, no, that'd be interesting though, because like
I'd visit there if it was like a place for someone to be down. I'd do a whole Ghost Adventures
you
episode.
get a shitty Sony camcorder going.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't bring my good camera. I'd bring the shittiest camera I can get.
Yeah, so when they stomp it, break it down.
Yeah, right. But you know, like I've never had. Maybe I've had experiences, but like I've never really had experiences that I could say like, oh, like you know.
Yeah, but that's something like very concrete,
right.
and it's
people
something
that I
palpable.
trust. Yeah.
You know, it's like I remember. So in my family, they had an incident of a haunted couch.
What? Did you just say it? Did you say a haunted couch?
I shit you not, haunted couch. And let me explain.
Was it like a Blue's Clues couch?
They purchased a couch.
Uh-huh.
They brought it home. And that was the threshold of when paranormal stuff started happening.
Yeah.
That was the catalyst.
What happened?
It's not it's not anything as like severe and drastic as what happened to your aunt and your family. Cupboards being left open, doors being opened by themselves,
Slamming.
footsteps,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And so think about it like this, okay? He came in, saw the Ben & Jerry's in your refrigerator,
Yeah.
ate it, and left your refrigerator open, and then just walked away.
Wait, the ghost ate their ice cream?
No, I'm making a joke, but like
okay.
that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah,
Just footsteps, things left open.
Horrible guest.
Horrible guess. I mean, just very rude. I mean,
Right.
this guy's absolute dick. You know, I invite you over to this realm,
Right.
hang out, you know, tell me stories about my granddad who's dead, who can't be here because he's in hell.
You're just gonna eat my Ben & Jerry's and leave my freezer open?
And they're like, okay, that's weird. And they didn't even like the couch anyways. Apparently it was hideous. It was a bad color.
It was just...
Yeah, and then
On the street, they're like,
they
eh.
returned it. They returned the couch.
Oh, they bought it?
Yeah, they bought it. They returned the couch, and then everything stopped.
So someone or something didn't want you to
Yeah,
own
but
that
the thing
couch.
is, like, how does that work? You know, it was like is the soul of somebody infused with that couch? Because the couch is an inanimate object. The couch can't haunt you.
couch-
It's like
You're not haunted by the spirit of the couch.
yeah.
That's not what's happening. Yeah, I think
it's like it'd be like
I see what you're getting at.
yeah, but like it has to be imbued with like the spirit of somebody.
or like memories.
And
or
so like
something.
I have a suspicion it was a secondhand couch.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't stripped from the factory. That wouldn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Because like it's a couch made in the factory. There's like no traumatic event. And
so it was a new couch.
If I remember correctly, it was secondhand. And so that would make a lot more sense because let's say somebody died while sitting in the couch.
Or someone who just used it a lot.
Used
Because
it a
I
lot.
imagine ghosts can be like, if they were attached to an object, use it a lot, their energy can reside on that.
But think about it. Think about like think about putting like a shell and putting it in the beach, and you put an imprint in it, right? And so if somebody can imbue their own life force, their own trauma, their own memories,
Yeah.
right? And the thing is, I have a theory that like ghosts are just echoes and reflections from just normal people, and a lot of them, or what you would see like the most famous ghost incidents, those are more demons than ghosts.
Yeah.
And so let's say, for example, you remember in Interstellar, right? And you had Matthew McConaughey, his character. He was screaming at Murph, you know, in that room.
In that
the fourth
Tesseract.
Yeah, the Tesseract, the
Yeah.
fourth dimension, right?
Right.
Screaming at her. And then he knocked.
Right.
And he moved, what was like a snow globe or something? Or like
books.
yeah, books or something.
Yeah. Books fell off the shelf.
Yeah, there's the ripple in the pond. And he managed to connect that dimension to his. Of course, he's separated by the gulf of space and time.
Right.
And he knocked it off. And so, like, let's say you move in a house and then you have things being opened and walking around. That could be the routine. Let's just say, like, some morning in 1982 where you're making your coffee, making eggs and bacon, opening cabinets and doing whatever, your normal routine. And you die in 87, and then some family buys a house in 1990, and then you start witnessing, right? And so it's kind of some latency, right? And so that's just ripples in the pond.
I see what you're saying.
See what I'm saying?
I see what
the
you're saying.
first stone hitting the water is the core or the initial event, and then you're just experiencing the waves.
Yeah, see, I've always felt that way about ghosts too. Like
Yeah, because like I really don't see like the horror element.
it's just like maybe a soul repeating its life.
Yeah.
Or its core memories.
Yeah.
Or maybe the memory, the event, maybe it was so traumatic, or maybe the opposite. Maybe it was so beautiful that throughout time, on the same date or the same time, maybe this event happened at 9 p.m., right?
Yeah.
So every day at 9 p.m., maybe this was their routine where they would make themselves a tea, they'd go to bed, and then they'd, whatever. So maybe at night you hear footsteps in the kitchen, and then you hear footsteps going to the bedroom. Well, you're just hearing the echoes of this being's routine because it was so pivotal in its life. It was a daily thing. It was.
And the thing is, we really don't have a clear understanding of time itself. We think time is linear, and like it could very well be possible.
cyclical.
Not cyclical, but all time is interconnected. It doesn't matter if you're going forwards, going backwards, or going anything. There is one parapsychology study conducted where they found that people who studied after taking a test had higher scores than people who didn't.
People who studied after taking the test.
After taking the test. That's called,
How does that work?
That's called retrocausality.
Retrocausality.
Retrocausality, yeah. Butchered that one. And so, essentially, what you're doing right now ripples across space-time and affect you in the past because you, the present you, the future, and the past you are all
In tandem.
In tandem. You're all entangled.
Wow.
Because think about it right now, right? If the future you is connected to you,
Old me, old Spock, old Aaron.
yeah.
Yeah.
What you do now impacts the future, and what you do in the future impacts you. And so they've arrived at this conclusion of retrocausality.
Is this some sort of
And so this
weird quantum physics?
Yeah, this is
shit?
this gets into quantum physics, and like this is what that's why I kind of stay away from like classic superstition and like classic folklore, not necessarily folklore, but like the paranormal stuff, because in this age of science, you're never going to be taken seriously if you just talk about like ghoulies and ghosts and, and Bigfoot and vampires and you have to have a scientific basis.
Right.
And so let's say you're at a scientific conference and you're talking about ghosts, do they exist or not? And so if you take this approach with echoes in time, right, and you have a solid scientific foundation, a solid basis that you can spring from, your credibility is going to be there, because people are going to need a solid foundation to actually believe this, and not like, oh yeah, my aunt saw a ghost once.
Right.
It's like, shit, ghosts are real.
But I feel like
one.
yeah.
It's like, case closed. Pack it up, go home. His
Like, all
aunt
right,
saw
guys,
a ghost. Yeah,
done
but
here.
his aunt was tripping on 3 taps.
But even I would argue that, is there not some sort of catalyst for there being evidence of the other side? For example, lucid dreaming or sleep paralysis. Have you ever experienced either of the two?
I've never. Well, yeah, lucid dreaming. Yes.
Lucid
but
dreaming?
No sleep paralysis.
No sleep paralysis. I've had sleep paralysis before.
You did tell me about this.
Yeah.
You told me that
It straight up feels like there's a demon and you're experiencing like a haunting and you can't move in your bed.
Yeah,
And there's entities toying
it's
with
really
you.
hard because if, let's say you go to therapy because you have sleep paralysis and you keep reporting a demon, right? And they're gonna say like, hey, your brain is still sleeping.
Yeah.
Your body is awake.
Right.
Right? You can't move. You're still in that REM or what?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you have vivid
Visualizations,
imagination,
and your eyes are open.
visualization, your eyes are open.
You're seeing your room.
Right, you're seeing your room. You're
Yeah.
gonna fill your brain is gonna fill that void with anything.
Right.
And it's gonna take all the horrible things you can conjure up from your imagination,
Right.
and form them. And so they're not gonna tell you, yeah.
But my thing is, why is it horror whenever I have this paralysis? Why is it always horror?
Well,
why isn't it like seeing like a friend or family member that passed and they're just saying hi, talking? Why is it always like some weird shadow or demonic figure?
Well, it's the nature of the scenario you find yourself in because you can't move.
Oh, well, yeah. You start freaking out. You mean?
Start freaking out.
Yeah. You're powerless. You feel
You're powerless.
I
Think
see.
about that. If you're powerless, you can't do anything, and then bam, all your worst fears coming.
Yeah. Into fruition.
Yeah.
But what about lucid dreaming though? Because lucid dreaming, I hear people talk about like, some people say they have the ability to like astral project and like walk around their house or apartment. I would argue that you were just having like a very vivid lucid dream, because I sometimes have really vivid lucid dreams where I'm walking around my apartment. Everything's just as I left it the night before, and I'm walking around and I'm doing things. I'm like maybe even doing my morning routine, just kind of walking around.
So I'll tell you a story.
Thinking about shit. Yeah.
My Egyptian friend, he's a Muslim, and that faith is very integral to his life. And he dabbles into Sufism.
What's that?
And if you don't know anything about Sufism, so you have the Shia and the Sunni, right? The two orthodox sects of Islam. And the Sufi are Islamic mystics. And so mysticism, so they believe that they can find union with the divine, union with God, and they can merge with God himself for spiritual ecstasy and revelation. And he was telling me that these Islamic mystics, you would call them like yogis in the Indian tradition.
Yeah.
He was telling me that it's very dangerous to astral project, because what happens is that your astral body is separated from your physical body.
Oh, you're talking about you can get possessed?
Yes and no. The thing is, the astral realm is essentially a maze of mirrors. And so different it has a different tinge, different. How do I describe this? The visualization is different, right? You don't have the same vision you do when you're in your normal body, and so the surroundings and your circumstances, they can blend together. And so he's told me that people have been severed from their normal body and they're lost in the astral realm, and it's a maze of mirrors. And so you have that, in that old folklore, never stare in a mirror.
Like while you're tripping on acid or shrooms or something.
No,
that's what I've heard. That's the only terms that's the only time I've been told not to look
just
into a
in
mirror.
general, because mirrors are associated with the spirit realm, right?
Really?
And so echoes and reflections, and how you can be. It's like, think about it. The mirror is like a portal,
like to a parallel. Do you think mirrors are like that's a whole universe? We're just doing the same thing coincidentally at the same time. Because sometimes I'll be really drunk and I'll think like, this isn't me.
This area. Who are you? Start punching the mirror. You son of a bitch! Stop
Who
copying
are you
me.
people? Yeah.
No, but he told me.
Stop copying.
He told me, according to him, like according to like the Sufi elders he's spoken to, it's very dangerous, and it's like you can separate your spiritual or your astral body from your physical body, but the thing is, it's a very difficult thing to do.
Wow.
And you have to be very, 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 very well versed at doing it, because it's truly some occult, esoteric practice. And
so if you're not careful, you can end up being Aleister Crowley.
So it's like a black and white world, right? When you go in the astral plane.
Black and white, as in.
Well, I'm gonna say like the perception has changed, the colors are changed, like the hues are changed, and so I'm like going to an old film, and he said it's very, very difficult to explain what it actually feels and looks like. And so
almost like tripping.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you could say it's almost akin to like some hallucination or some hallucination,
or like a lucid dream. Because you never have, or you ever have like a. Well, you said you've had lucid dreams. You ever like look at your hands and it's like very.
You have to count the fingers. Like, am I dreaming or not?
And the colors are like overly saturated.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done psychedelics a few times. I've done shrooms. I've done acid. And when you do those colors, the saturation goes way up. Like, the sky will be way bluer. The trees will be way greener. And I feel like, because I've also, like I said, I've had plenty of lucid dreams. I do it on a semi-regular.
I would say like
the color scheme is
like
vaguely the same.
Like a monochrome, like everything.
Monochrome. Yeah.
Something like that.
Right.
But he said the most difficult thing too is that you can't lose your body.
So you can't stray too far from it.
Because he says like in the astral plane you can go around and you can visit with other deities. And he was talking to me about the jinn. And so
I've heard of this.
Yeah, and so in the Quran, in Arabic folklore,
they're like the shadow people almost, right?
Yeah, so they have their own societies, right? They have their own like complex, sophisticated civilization, and he would tell me how, like the jinn, are essentially like elementals, and so they can assume the fire, water, earth, air, whatever, and also they exist on a higher plane, and how they were. I don't want to butcher this, but I think in the Quran they were talking about how like the jinn were created like they were pure fire beings.
Okay.
And he was telling me like he can actually like interact with them, like.
So he's actually had these experiences before, your friend.
He he said he's claimed at least.
But yeah, just like I've claimed to, I lucid dream and whatever. It's all subjective.
Yeah, he's claimed that he's able to separate himself from his body, his astral form from his physical form. But I honestly, if let's say you could do it, and do it repeatedly, like do it consistently, to a point where it's, muscle memory.
Right.
I think it'd be terrifying. But let's like take this at face value. That if you lose your body, you're fucked. You're doomed to oblivion, just wandering this vast plane. And the thing is, like, you can't use any landmarks because it's all blurred. It's all monochrome.
It's almost like you have like dementia or something. Like if it'll just get muddled over time, like a dream, like dream physics.
Yeah.
You ever been to Meow Wolf? Did you ever go to Meow Wolf?
No.
So it's like when you're in Meow Wolf, 1 minute you're in one room, and then you turn a corner, you go down a hall, and next thing you know, you're in like some weird fucking obscure alternate dimension. You're like, where the fuck did I get here? How do I get back?
Is that like the room of mazes or like the haunted house? Or is it a haunted house or is it just like fun house? Where
It's
like
a fun, yeah.
a maze?
It's a fun house. It's not like horror themed, but there's one in Grapevine I went to. It's really fucking cool. Honestly, dude, if you're ever down, if you ever got some free time, we'll go to that. It's really fucking cool.
It's like you just slamming the wall over and over.
Where
am I?
Where am I? No, I would say it's like as close as you're gonna get to a psychedelic experience without doing any psychedelics. Like I went there, I was stoned when I went there, and I didn't need to be. I thought I was gonna like, oh, I'll get stoned, I'll enjoy it more. I didn't need a single ounce of THC. I didn't need anything. It was that mind bending. What was that?
Imagine doing it on acid.
I would actually have a panic attack. I would actually. I think that's a bad idea. Like, not gonna lie, anyone listening, if you're planning on going to Meow Wolf,
do
and
not
you're thinking
heed this advice. Whatever you do not.
Yeah, do not. If you're planning on going to Meow Wolf soon, if you're wanting to, and you're thinking like, oh, I'm gonna do shrooms or do acid beforehand, I do not. And if you're gonna smoke weed or something before or drink ayahuasca, now. Don't do any of that. I say don't even smoke weed. You don't even need it.
I almost said ashwagandha. I've been thinking about that.
Ashwagandha.
Do you take those supplements?
No, but I have a cousin that does, and she swears it's a good, like, it helped her, like, get the energy to go work out and work. And she's a mom, too, so it gave her, like, that
Victoria.
extra. Yeah. She had that energy. It gave her that boost that she needed, basically. I never tried it, though. I've wanted to.
Yeah, it's great for anxiety. You know.
Is it?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try it.
Though it is an adaptogen, though. So, what that means, like, if you take...
Yeah, what's an adaptogen?
Actually, we had this conversation before. So
I know.
If you take too much, it'll do the reverse effect, and so it'll actually induce more anxiety. And so everything has to be in flux, like equilibrium. So you just have to take just amount to alleviate the
Use it, don't
anxiety.
abuse it.
Absolutely.
Okay, I got you.
Okay.
Jesus, man. Yeah. Have you ever done, not done, I'm saying it like it's a drug. Have you ever tried lion's mane mushroom?
Oh, those shrooms are my favorite, man.
Have you done it before?
Shit, man. A guy under the bridge says the best in the world. No.
You don't need to get it from a guy under the bridge.
Yeah, I
mean,
it gave me some stomach problems, honestly. And so...
It is a mushroom. It is a fungi.
It is a
We'll
mushroom,
do that. Yeah. But it gives me mental clarity. Like, I take it if I'm feeling like, if I have a hangover, if I'm muddled, if I need, like to sharpen my brain a little bit, like a pencil sharpener, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It does the job. I say you take one of those in the morning, maybe wait an hour or two, maybe drink some coffee, and you'll be refined enough to, like, go to work or do whatever it is that you need to do. It's a good, I'm always looking for something to give me an edge. Maybe that's the inner drug addict in me.
Yeah, the inner fiend.
The
adrenaline junkie.
Right, yeah, exactly. So I'm always looking for the next thing. The thing that's going to be like a limitless pill for me.
Yeah.
That unlocks the other 90% of my brain.
You only use 10% of your brain.
Yeah.
No,
Like
that's
a sucker.
interesting. Yeah. So I'm reading a book called Cross Currents, and it's about electromagnetic medicine. And so...
Like electroshock therapy?
Yeah, something akin to that. I mean, that's
really? I was joking.
Well, that was a primitive form when they didn't know anything about electricity, and they just want to experiment medicinally. Okay. Like, that's just attach these electrodes and then pump them full of so much fucking volts.
Jesus Christ.
Jack him up. His heart stops, but hey, his muscles are twitching.
He must be good.
And it's really interesting because it was exploring the placebo effect and people's power of belief. Mm-hmm. And it was the author is a surgeon and a doctor, and so this guy has like great credentials, like very intelligent, and he was like recording, or not recording. I mean, he was remembering or recalling this one case where this patient was given this medicine which had been clinically proven to be essentially worthless, like no efficacy against cancer. The guy had leukemia. But he was told that it was a new cutting-edge cancer treatment, and it was incredibly effective. And so he took it, and for about 3 months, his cancer steadily declined to the point where it completely gone. He was cancer-free. Leukemia gone. And what happened is that he read in the newspaper how the drug was fraudulent.
It was a placebo.
It was a placebo. And so
Did he get it back?
all the cancer reappeared.
No, overnight.
No,
Like he just got his cancer back.
Maybe not overnight, but I would say probably within a week.
Oh, so it started like minor, like a little bit at a time, started coming back.
But
Because he, at that point, he's like, I didn't receive a cure.
yeah, because,
That's so weird.
At this point, he was like, yeah, this works. And so it's so interesting to see how the power of belief changes. And his actual thesis is that when you have a belief that profound, you can actually control your involuntary immune system and essentially subconscious. You can access the subconscious psyche, and like the involuntary immune system or control system, right? You're controlling the temperature, right?
Yeah.
Of your body,
Right.
the heart rate, your organs, digesting,
Your breathing
circulating,
sometimes.
your breathing, your blood, right? Your energy levels, the oxygen,
Right.
the CO2, like everything.
The pressure, right?
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Everything related to your bodily function. And he has this thesis that if you can control, which all work by way of electricity, electromagnetic waves, just fields in the body. And his thesis is that if you can assume direct control of that, his thesis is all disease is that you don't have, it's a blockage of the fields or too little or too much energy. And so the cancer is just the body out of whack.
Right.
And so his thinking is that if this man had such a profound belief that I am better, I don't have cancer. It's like the body's like, fuck, I don't have cancer.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
That we have that much
yeah,
control
like I don't have cancer. I don't
over
have cancer.
our
I
own
don't have cancer.
bodies.
I don't have cancer.
Or if you believe that maybe God or someone cured your cancer, like the pastor puts his hand on
Yeah.
you, your cancer is gone.
Yeah,
And-
but this used to be controversial, but it's not controversial at all in the field of
It's
psychology.
less controversial.
Everybody knows
nowadays.
about the placebo effect.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, I mean, this guy's talking about we have to approach this with the scientific paradigm, because if we don't, we're never going to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
And then this is going to be tossed off into the dustbin of history.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be relegated
Pseudoscience.
Yeah, it's a pseudoscience. I mean, it's going to just be, condemned and mocked
Right.
and ridiculed as pseudoscience.
Do you
and
think
it's never going to take. Nobody's going to take it seriously.
Yeah, or
Like, it
it's
needs
not
to
going to
be-
save anyone.
Yeah, it needs to be taken seriously and introduced in the little toolkit or the arsenal of medicine, which they can use to attack and treat drugs.
Right.
I mean, not attack drugs, but treat cancers and illnesses and disease.
Do you think that there are organizations out there that would benefit on that kind of area of study not ever being fully recognized?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people.
And this is really conspiratorial. That's a conspiratorial question, so we'll preface that.
Yeah, it's
not a
it's
big
really
pharma.
not. It's not outside the realm of possibility. Because if normal people can arrive at this conclusion just based upon their own independent research, the pharmaceutical companies know about this, but the thing is they wouldn't profit.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think it's a terrible idea if you view it through the lens of money and profit, but I think it's just more power, more than anything. And so it's not like me being 2008, 2009 fucking Occupy Wall Street, fuck the corporations,
Yeah.
man. Oh, it's the corporations, man. It's Raytheon, man. It's Lockheed Martin.
It's
Coca-Cola.
George Soros.
George Soros and the lizard people. It's I think it's more just power more than anything. And I guarantee you, like some federal agency, you know, some black budget program, like everyone knows this. I mean, it's just like, yeah, you can use it for the select few.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you don't really have to go the conspiratorial route anyways, because a lot of it is dogma. And a lot of it is tied up in the personal ego and pride of the scientists.
You think so?
And so a lot of them don't want to be perceived to be as foolish or correct or wrong in any way, any capacity.
Or maybe that they overlooked something.
Yeah, I mean, they don't want to. They don't want to be made to look like a fool. And if you think about it, their entire careers, all the accolades, all the credentials, all the awards they receive as outstanding scientists, all of that fades into nothing if you introduce a new paradigm. Because a paradigm shift, by definition, is destructive. You're destroying the old foundation and the old structure, and you're introducing something new. They lose power, they lose prestige, they lose repute. Everything's gone. And a lot of these people are incredibly intelligent.
Yeah.
Incredibly gifted. Their entirely livelihoods disappeared because you have this new insight into medicine. And if you just want to say, no, we can measure this chemically, we can measure this biologically, we can measure this scientifically.
Do you think that's why people tend to, I guess, favor Western medicine over Eastern medicine? Because Eastern medicine tends to more or less touch over like what you've been talking about just now. Like it's more or less like
I think
power of your belief, and then the you know.
Well, the thing is,
less,
what Western science is still the foundation for the modern world. Because if we didn't have Western science, we wouldn't even have this equipment we're using now.
Right.
And so you can't completely dismiss the scientific method. The problem you have is dogma. And so we do live, like or not, you live in a materialistic world.
Yeah.
Of matter, things
We're all
are concrete.
material girls living in a
exactly.
material world. Yeah.
Material girl.
Material.
Fuck. You made me think of Barbie now.
We need to see that one too. We need to see that in Oppenheimer, man. I'm telling you. Same day.
Same day.
Yeah. That's the full experience. You got to see both the same day. That's the full Western experience.
Yeah, it's called Barbieheimer.
Barbie. Yeah, exactly. No, but go on.
No, but like we have to approach it from a scientific basis, right? And so, like I was saying, like if you can introduce these concepts and these phenomena in a scientific way, you're gonna earn the respect and, more importantly, the trust of a lot of people. Because like if you just go around like, yeah, so we're talking about like life force when electricity was first discovered. Yeah, it's actually just a network of ghouls, and they give you their ghoul energy. And we're invoking spirits on the other side.
Yeah.
And they rub together like electric and then like the fucking static electricity.
Yeah.
And they give you their ghoul energy. So just trust me. It's ghosts. It's ghost energy. Don't think anything about it. Don't think anything about it.
Trust me, bro.
Just trust me, bro. And so you have to have a proper basis to like proceed.
Right.
And so I really don't think why you can't have like a perfect blend between like mysticism and science, and then like the paranormal stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of people just say like, oh, it's unnatural, right? Or it's paranormal. I'm like, no, that's just normal physics. Like if you just break everything down into physics and the interaction with the physical world, like this guy was saying, like these people have a control of their internal electrical system or their own grid. If you have complete control over your own personal grid, your electromagnetic grid, through this profound belief that something happens, right? If you can cloak it in that language, people are going to understand that, and they're going to take that seriously, and they're not going to ridicule you.
Do you think the issue is that there's not an approach that's universal that everyone can do and achieve the same result?
No, I definitely think if you could do it double blind, Definitely, because if you can measure someone's electromagnetic field, and you can see the changes and the differences, and you can measure them before the belief, after the belief.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like I don't see why it wouldn't be so difficult as picking up an object and then watching it fall, like measuring gravity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The thing is, you have to know what you're measuring. Because if everyone is dealing with different variables, you're going to reach different conclusions.
So why do you think people tend to not take this approach more seriously?
Because it's considered pseudoscience and ridiculous and absurd, like old, like primitive energy healing, energy medicine.
Yeah.
Like you have some fucking Aboriginal elder in the bush of Australia.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm communing with Sky God,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna invoke him, and he's gonna
Well, do you
imbue
think-
me with some power.
You
to
think
heal
that's
this
just human
wound.
ignorance, though, to like perceive it as that?
It's dogma.
Dogma.
It's really dogma. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And it's more sophisticated than that. But it's like I said, it's power, prestige. These men have their careers. I mean, they're very, very eminent scientists, and their careers would collapse if you just destroy their life's work.
Well, it's also the same can be said when it comes to finding like new energy sources other than like fossil fuels, for example, because the people who have made their careers.
I mean,
off
think
of
about
that,
like Shell. I mean, Shell doesn't want you to have a fusion reactor.
Right. They don't want that Nikola Tesla free limitless energy.
Yeah, it's like
everyone's
my boy was a autist. He was a genius.
Right. Yeah.
Asperger's supremacist, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he like Death Ray, the portable charger, having limitless energy. He would like what was the design where he would like bounce it off like the Earth's ionosphere, and now you could just use the Earth itself as a giant Tesla coil for free energy.
Yeah.
And then J.P. Morgan was like, "No, you're not taking my money, bitch."
And even nowadays, I feel like if that were to happen again nowadays, I feel like the same thing would happen.
Like, do you ever remember that guy, like in the early '90s, who like claimed to have a car that ran on water, and then he like mysteriously died?
Yeah. Was that the 90s? I thought that was like the 2000s. But yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
That someone invented a motorized engine that ran on hydrogen.
Yeah.
And then he just disappeared. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like what's his name? Gary Webb published how the CIA trafficked narcotics, and then he like killed himself with 2 bullets in the back of the head.
Or like, what's his name? The one guy who said he fought aliens in an underground base. I forgot his fucking name. Like, said he lost fingers. I think that guy might have been full of shit. But yeah.
Oh fuck! What was his name? Oh shit! I remember that guy. That guy's such a fraud.
Phil
Collins in there tonight.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight.
Schneider.
Phil Schneider. Yeah, that was his name.
Phil Schneider. Yeah, I remember that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, I was Dulce base in New Mexico.
Yeah.
And I was going down and just doing some maintenance. I'm actually a geologist. And we were just drilling another hole for a deep underground military base. It's called a dumb, if you didn't know, because you're a fucking dumb piece of shit. And yeah, so like 3 aliens were just chilling in the cave.
Yeah.
They're actually playing Scrabble. And I just shot all of them in the head.
I fucking popped a cap in each and every one of those alien fucks. He looked at me funny. I didn't like how different he looked from me.
You're in the wrong part of the Milky Way, bitch.
You're in the wrong layer of Earth, bitch. Imagine, say this is true, right? Say you're just an alien chilling in your underground base, minding your own business. You're playing, Scrabble.
You get this primate with this, like, very, like...
Yeah, you hear drilling. You see dust from the ceiling start falling down. You see, like, rocks. And next thing you know, there's, like, a drill bit coming down. And then, like, these fucking humans
just protruding out of the rock. And then they just emerge. You see these primates.
Right.
With these very
Well,
primitive...
they're humans because you're on Earth. You're like, oh shit. Oh, how do they get down here? And the next thing you know, he just fucking pulls out a fucking Glock. He just pulls out, like, no
warning, no nothing.
No trying to contact. Like, hey, no contact attempt.
No, we come in peace.
Attempted contact, yeah. None of that. Just gunfire.
Bob.
Well, those aliens ought to known they were in they built an underground base in
Technically,
America.
that is American soil.
Exactly.
Everything that exists below the continental United States. Hell, the whole world belongs to America.
They
I'm
should
just
have
saying,
known.
They should have known.